periods is simple, right? And profitability index calculation also simple. Now let's review the formula first, and then I will demonstrate with the illustrated examples for these financial metrics. All right. So formula for the buyback periods, you divide the project cost by the annual cash flow. However, this formula is just good if the annual cash flow is equal across the years in the future. But sometimes the annual cash flow is not equal. Sometimes 1,000 second year, 0 third year, 9,000 next year, 6,000 for example. So if the annual cash flow is not equal like that, you must be careful and manually calculate. Net present value formula is look like this. NBV. Oh, why this line move? Okay, I0, that is the year zero cash flow. Normally, year zero cash flow is negative because it is the investment for the project. And then you take the total of on the discounted cash flow. If you know the K, that is the discount rate. Sometimes you need to supplement the K with the inflation. Okay? Because if the inflation growth is it discount, right, the present value of your project. Here is an example for you to calculate the NPV, right? So here the oh, where's the equation? Here you see the minus sign, right? Because it's the investment at the year zero, and then there are 8 periods or 8 years. So you have to take a total of the discount cash flow of 8 years. Every year the cash flow is 25,000. However, to receive the present value, you have to discount, right, this 25,000. Depend on the year T. All right, here you can see not just 15% as the discount rate, but the example also show you that you must apply the 3% inflation rate, because inflation rate reduce the present value. All right. The third one is the internal rate of return. Okay, so if you want to know what is the what is the discount rate such that the NPV equals 0, okay, and then that case that is the IRR. In that case, K is the IRR when the NPV is set to 0. All right. So the discount rate K causes the NPV to be equal to 0, and then you can work out how much is the K, how much is IRR. Especially, right, you use IRR when you would like to compare multiple project proposal, and the higher the project with a higher IRR should be accepted. Right. So in Excel, you can use the function IRR here. To calculate the IRR, you can use Excel function. Of course, you can use the technique like trial and error until you get the NPV 0. But it takes time, and I don't think you need to spend a lot of time, right, following that process. try and error, right, until the NPV is 0. So you can use an Excel, right, to calculate the IR. I will demonstrate an example later. Profitability index, the last financial matrix, you divide the present value by initial investment, and if this profitability index is greater than 1, the project is good, profitable. All right, so let's move to the this is the long shot, right? One example of the financial matrix. I will go fast, right? And then I also share one Excel example in the Blackboard so that you can practice again at home. Okay, let's look at this project proposal, and you need to calculate the financial measures for project selection. Okay, so the project has 5 years, and then initial investment is 100,000. All right. Each year you have a cash flow. You can see cash flow each year is not equal. It's not the same. So if it makes you use the different method to calculate the payback periods, how many years to buy back, how many periods to buy back 100,000. Let's assume that the required rate of return is 50%, right? So payback in years, or payback periods in years, equal initial investment divided by annual cash flow. The shorter the payback period, the quicker an organization can achieve financial benefits. So in this case, it's one AA. Okay, there's no formula here, right? So why 183? Less than 2 years for payback. Less than 2 years. So you look at the year 1, year 2, right? After year 2, the return is 50,000 plus 60. All right. It's greater than the initial investment. Okay, so it means that you don't need to wait until 2 years for payback. All right, less than 2 years, that's enough. So the answer is somewhere between 1 and 2. So what exactly the period value? Okay. So you can calculate in the rough paper like that. Okay, in year 2, after year 1, okay, the remaining money for buyback is the remaining money for buyback is how much? Anybody? We are working how the buyback periods in this project is 1.833. And I just told you that after year 2, the return is up to 110,000. It's much greater than initial investment money, 100,000. So it means that the payback period is somewhere more than 1 and below 2. After year 1, the remaining money for buyback is how much? Anybody? Phone? I'm gonna tell you, if I ask you a question and you answer, I give the bonus points. But if no answer, if no voluntary answer, I will go back to the list of the student and call any name. Oh, that's two phone, right? So I don't know which phone. Lâm Phương Phụng.
Yes.
All right. So you follow me, right? Phụng.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we are calculating how many years for payback? 100,000, right? And we know that after year 2, actually we receive more than 100,000. So we don't need to wait until 2 years for payback. So my question is, after year 1, the remaining money for payback is?
After year 1,
it should be 100,000. 100,000 minus after year 1, how much we get? How much is the cash flow after year 1?
50,000.
50,000. Good. So after year 1, the remaining money for buyback is 50,000. So it equivalent to 50,000 divided by the cash flow. The cash flow after year 2 is 60,000. All right. Yes. So the ratio or the percentage of 50,000 divided by 60,000 is 0.833, right? Okay, less than 1. So we don't need to wait until 2 years for payback. Okay, we need only 1.83. All right, so you got that? Let me jot down from name so I can give Lam Phương Phụng one bonus bond for active answer. Now let's move to the second financial measure. Net present value equal to the difference of initial investment and value cash inflow over the time, considering the rate of return and the time value of money. The positive value is a sign the project will return financial benefits to organization. So we want the positive NPV, net present value. So it's easy, right? We just follow the formula here in Excel. NPV for net present value, and we select the BA. That is the rate of return required, or the discount rate, right? And select this the cells C7 to cell G7. That is the cash flow from year 1 to year 5, and then you got a B6. That is the initial investment. All right. Initial investment. Remember, you have to add the negative side in front of the B6, okay, because that is the expenditure. It's not the return. And then the net present value for this project is 45,985, greater than 0. So this project is profitable. The third financial measure is profitability index, equal to the ratio of present value of cash inflow to the initial investment. a ratio greater than 1 is a sign that the project will return financial benefits to organization. So you have to discount the cash flow from year 1 from year 1 to year 5 and divide by initial investment money, B6. All right, and the results show that the profitability index is greater than 1.5. So it means that the project is profitability. The last financial measure you must understand is the internal rate of return, IRR, right? So you can use the Excel function and come up with the IRR 35% here. But it's more important for you to understand how you can apply the concept of the value of internal rate of return. So the best way is to draw a chart for the project NBV. Okay, I show you the NBV curve here. You know that you calculate the IRR when the NBV, net present value, the vertical axis is 0. So you can see the curve cut the 0 line at 35%. So the horizontal axis for the discount rate. So at the discount rate of 35% or 0.35, the NBV is 0. All right. So if the company want your project, right, to have a minimum 20%, for example, so 20% somewhere here. So your project is good, right, compared to the required minimum rate of return. If the company want your project to return 20%, then you look at the IRR value. 35% is much better, right, than the required minimum rate of return by the company. Okay, you can see the net present value here of the 20% is positive. Okay. Now, on the other hand, if the company want a higher rate of return, let's say the company want your project to return 40% return rate, 40%, 0.4 here. So you look at your project here, and your project has the NBV curve like this, and 40% meets the curve at this point, below the 0 point, below the 0. So negative is not good. Okay, you can reject your project. You can reject this project because the internal rate of return of this project is lower than the minimum rate of return set by your company. Okay. Yeah, so that's for the project selection. You know that a company can select a project based on the non-profit reasons, like cyclical, like operations necessity, like the competitive strategy, like product line expansion, like the benefits perceived by the managers. But most of the business project must satisfy the financial or profitability requirement, like payback periods, net present value, profitability index, and